Hi, good afternoon, good evening to all those who are joining from Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore. Also, we have some participants from India. Thank you for joining us on this webinar on the topic of unified academic process for higher education. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome all of you for this webinar. I would also take this opportunity to welcome our speakers for this webinar. Dr. S.J. Thiruvengadam, Dean of Academics, Tyagaraja College of Engineering. And also we are joined on this webinar by Mr. A.R. Swaminathan, our co-founder and CEO of CAMO. A very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you for being with us today to share your insights. The objective of the webinar today is to help institutions to thread their own goals with reference to the significant changes that has happened in terms of content delivery and content assessment because of the COVID. I hope you will make the best use of the session. The way we have scheduled this session is just, we will start with the professor's presentation, followed by a brief conversation between our CEO and Professor Dr. Thiruvengadam. Then we move on to the last end, maybe 10 minutes or so, so that you can just send in your questions on the chat box or the Q&A section of what you see. Then we'll try and take those questions towards the end of the session. Thank you once again for joining. Before we jump into the presentation, let me take a couple of seconds to introduce, because we have not just customers, we also have our some new prospects joining us on this webinar. So just to give a brief introduction to our company, let me just move to the next slide. We are a startup company started in the year 2013 with a vision to change the pedagogy. We offer a comprehensive software solution, today for the entire complete student life cycle. As a company, as a product, we have global expertise. Today, the product has been rolled out in 6 different countries, from student size starting from, let's say, 500 to 25,000. Today, we have the expertise in experiencing in rolling out projects across complex projects across different countries. And also we have introduced the mobile first technology, which means whether with the students or the parents or the faculty can access the app anytime, anywhere through the mobile app. Also, as a company, as an organization, we have done complex deployment across multiple countries. Also, a large time, it's rolled out in a very short span of time. That's the USP for us. And to give a brief introduction, today CAMO serves 400 plus institutions across the globe, and more than 50,000 faculties and 1 million users. Students are using CAMO app today. And like I said, our presence is across 6 different countries. And also we have experience of handling 1,200 programs of study. That's the expertise that we have. And also, we are very proud of the fact that our growth is driven by the referenceability. Our customers are our brand ambassadors. Our growth is driven by the referenceability. So that's a bit of an introduction to us. Just quickly move on to introducing our key speaker for today, Dr. S.J. Thiruvengadam, Dean of Academics, Tyagaraja College of Engineering. He has 25 years of experience in teaching. Professor Thiruvengadam is currently responsible for the pedagogy at Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai, the temple town of India, southern India. He did his postdoctoral studies at Stanford University in MIMO wireless communication in 2008. He's also the professor of electronics and communication engineering at Tyagaraja College of Engineering. With a great pleasure, I welcome you for this webinar, Professor. And let me introduce A.R. Swaminathan, our co-founder and CEO. He's an engineer by qualification, a product manager, a passionate storyteller. Swami is is responsible for the business development and all the strategic partnerships at Camo. He has taken Camo to 4 different countries, and at a very early stage, and he has pitched Camo against many global vendors, and he has won accounts across the globe. And the biggest differentiating factor about Swami is that he connects with the academicians instantly with his understanding of the domain very much, and he is able to offer a tailor-made solution to the complex problems of academicians today. It's my great pleasure to welcome you, Swami. Now I will hand over the session to Professor Thiruvenkatam. Over to you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Swaminathan for inviting me to share our experience in the field of academic process. I'm very happy to accept this, and it is my pleasure to deliver my lecture in the field of the academic process in higher education. The context in this particular one was the outline. Okay, I would like to mention that this is we will set the context for the need for this unified academic process. Then we'll move on to some of the things that's in the current scenario. There are positives as well as negatives. We will just discuss about that particular thing. Then what is the motivation for the unified academic process and what is objective? Then we will move on to that. What are the components of the academic process we get to touch upon so that we can move towards this unified academic process point of view. Then I will spend some time on the graduate attributes of National Board of Accreditation or the International Engineering Alliance. Then I will just describe about what is the proficiency scale. TCE stands for our institute, Tyagarajar College of Engineering. How we can combine all the 3 domains of Bloom's taxonomy as a proficiency scale here. I will explain it. If time permits, I will take the sample outcomes and the sample course, then the resilient teaching model. Then we will also discuss about the best practices and what are the expected outcomes of this particular academic process. Then finally, we will end up with some concluding remarks. This is the presentation outline, and just to move on to the our context of this particular thing. Okay. There are many engineering institutions. I put it in the engineering institution because I work in an engineering college. I have a lot of field experience in introducing those things in engineering. So that's the way I put it, as many good institutions across the globe, or especially in India. I'm going to define this particular way. What the students? The students, we are trying to attract the meritorious students in good engineering institutions or good institutions. Many of them are economically poor, then automatically the job first is the attitude behind that particular thing. So what are the challenges from the academic community we have, how to place them in core industries? It's the first challenge we are having. The second thing is, since they are coming from the economically poor and the job first attitude is there, how do we motivate for higher studies in core disciplines? I'm meaning it's a core engineering here. Then they have the capability. How can we nurture them to go into the entrepreneurial adventures, the entrepreneurial attitude? How do we embed the entrepreneurial attitude among the students? So need of the hour is going to be in terms of the technical, managerial, and behavioral skills. Because all the 3, we get to combine it here. This in terms of the knowledge, then the knowledge, skill, and attitude. Then how do you bring the real world context in the campus itself? So that will be most useful for them to meet the challenges like the placement in core industries, and how do you move on to the higher studies. Then how do we embed the entrepreneurial attitude? We have an opportunity in terms of the appraisals. Okay, so many of the times the institutions think that this National Board of Accreditation or in India or the NAC or the Abbott or IET, any accreditation things, they just take it as a 6 months practice. Before the committee visits, they are preparing a lot of documents and they submit it. Once they get accredited, once the program is accredited, then they get relaxed. Okay, that's a kind of the thing. Instead, we get to take this as an opportunity for self-appraising ourselves. where are we moving? Okay, that automatically gives us a lot of impact in improving the quality of the program there. That's what I'm meaning this as an opportunity here. And we get to ensure that how do we meet all attributes of the graduate attributes mentioned in the curriculum in a true spirit. So this particular context, okay, I'm going to look at what is the current scenario now. Okay, the current scenario wise, if I'm going to look at here, many educational programs in higher educational institutions were conceived and constructed in 70s or 80s. In an engineering field, because of BE in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical and electronics and communication engineering, all these things have been conceived, and many of this curriculum conceived in the 80s. Till now, we are not aiming to change completely there, but the society has changed or the world has changed now. Okay, in my opinion, there are more emphasis on the theory of the engineering sciences, not on the practice. It's one fundamental thing I'd like to observe here. Then, if you look at here, quite a number of programs, it is almost in a saturation there, because there is a mismatch between the job market need and the narrow focus on the technological changes. So this gives us a challenge. How we are going to place our students in the core industries. That is a challenge we are having. There is a mismatches now. At the same time, companies like Google and Apple, they have started hiring employees based on their skills to get the job done. Okay? They don't expect the degree for that particular one, with or without a degree. They are trying to employ it here. Because there is a problem here, it is going to be in terms of, it is one of the quote, I just read it in the, when I prepare these slides, okay? It says that nowadays we attempt to educate 21st century learners with a 20th century curriculum taught in a 19th century institution. I hope that everybody will agree this statement also now, okay? Because we are making the minor changes in the existing curriculum. Most of us, we want to live in a comfort zone. That's going to be the major issue, I think so. That's the reason why this kind of the statements are going to be meaningful also. 21st century learners with a 20th century curriculum taught in a 19th century institution here. It's going to be we take it in a lighter vein and take it to the next level also here. Okay, this is especially in engineering education. Okay, just to see the evolution. Okay, before 1950s, the x-axis is the disciplinary knowledge, and then the y-axis is the personal, interpersonal, and system building. If you look at here, they spend most of the time on building the attitude and skill along with the knowledge component here. That is before 1950s. This is what they are meaning it here. So slowly, what happened in 1960s? The emphasis is more on the disciplinary knowledge and less at the cost of the reduction in the personal, interpersonal, and the system building skills. 1980s, what happened here? We completely moved away from the personal, interpersonal, and the system building. Focus is mainly on the disciplinary knowledge. So slowly, then 1990, if the trend continues here, okay, they will get only the knowledge. Okay, they don't know how to do or implement whatever the knowledge they are having. Okay, this is going to be the difference between the knowledge and the wisdom. How we are going to do that process here. That time only the concepts like the conceive, design, implement, and operate. Okay, this is a framework formulated by an MIT professor. It is mostly followed in the European countries as well as in Asian countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, because everybody they are trying to follow this particular concept now. Okay, so it is going to be an interesting thing there because they are going to mix up the things like a knowledge, skill, and attitude. So the one aspect we are saying that the curriculum is not fine-tuned to the real-time requirements now. At the same time, on the positive side in the current scenario, there are the rapid developments in the teaching and learning methods. Okay, especially on the online part of that. There are plenty of online materials are available, high quality online materials. And it started, the programs are offered even for the formal courses, maybe in terms of the new knowledge disseminations like in the machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science. Because there are many things are going up here. Upskilling, there is a possibility. Reskilling, there is a possibility. If I want to get a job in a particular thing, I want to take an online course, definitely I can take this, I can improve my skill. So there's plenty of opportunities are available for the students. As well as if I'm going to look at from the National Education Policy, it's called as a NEP, very popularly known as NEP in India, in the 2020, they say that in future, the more focus will be on online education and open distance learning. And the second thing they are saying that our curriculum should be flexible. Our curriculum should be flexible with multiple entry and multiple exit. Okay, this is very common in the other countries, not in India, the multiple entry or multiple exit, but it is common across the world. Okay, this is going to be the new thing for Indian perspective here. Okay, that's what we are making it a national education policy. What I'm meaning it here, the government is also looking at in terms of whatever the advantages we are having in the education system, they want to ride on that particular things now. That's the way we are making it here. Okay. The another one, from the All India Council for Technical Education, I take only from the engineering point of view here. What is the government initiatives in India? They give a lot of things now, starting from the model curriculum, then the exam reform policy, how to embed all the three domains. Then they also introduce the concepts like a faculty induction program. Okay, they are offering 8 courses. These 8 courses, if I am going to look at it here, it starts from the ethics, communication skill, curriculum design, how to do the assessment and administrative, lifelong learning, R&D. So it focuses on all the things there. Then for the first year students, they started giving the orientation program for 3 weeks. And recently AICTE has made it mandatory that all the students should go for the internship for a certain period, as well as they're also offering the NPTEL strength. This is an online portal for the engineering education kind of the things. This is from the government initiative. They are in all the domains now, starting from the curriculum, assessment, induction program, content delivery, how to utilize the online part everywhere. They are taking a lot of initiatives there. It is our duty to take advantage from the government initiatives now. This is going to be the another message I am going to take it here. Accreditation point of view also, AICTE comes with 2 things. One is they identify an institution, then they will support all other institutions to practice the outcome-based education, okay, as well as with a concept called as a choice-based credit system. Otherwise, they also identify individual faculty members to guide another institution as a mentor. They call this programs as called as a Margadarshak and a Margadarshan schemes. So the clear message is that government is also willing to support all education institutions to improve the quality of the academic process in colleges now. This is one example. I'm going to take it from engineering education point of view here. Then we are going to look at all these things. There are 4 questions comes to my mind. One thing is, what type of students do we want to educate? Okay, we get to make a clear picture on that particular things now. The second thing is, what are the major changes our students will face in 2030? Because academic is a time constant is very, very high. Whatever the changes we are making here, if you want to look at that particular changes significantly, it will need more time now. That means look at 2030, what are the changes our students will face, then plan it now itself. That's going to be the things. Then what are the value addition we can give it in terms of the educational content? Okay, that's going to be the another thing. Then we should also think about that the learning processes, which learning processes will help the students to sustain the preparation of our engineer or the graduate. Okay. So there are 4 things. One is type of students. The second thing is how we are going to how our students will face 10 years down the line. Then how are you going to contribute to the educational sector, and what should be the processes we get to follow to the preparing our graduate as a successful one. These are all the 4 questions comes to my mind. Okay. You can also raise so many questions in the chart also. Then if I'm going to look at the other way around, okay, what is the landscape? Since I'm talking about 2030, okay, we should think about 2 things. One is called as what are the changes means, what are the large scale changes in society, and the second thing is the disruptive nature of the technological change. These 2 things are the driving factor in deciding what is the landscape of the higher education now. Okay. In fact, they are giving that there will be 5 type of institutions will exist in 2030. One they call this as a research institute, okay, very strong research institute. Okay, they don't bother about the other anybody else because they are very strong in whatever the areas they get taken. They are the world best in a particular discipline, ideally tied to the industry gaps. Like if we take an examples of the Harvard, Stanford, or MIT, okay, they are going to be in the top level. Okay, they are the world best kind of the things. The second thing is There are some institutions are trying to reach the research institute level. We call them as the comprehensive university here. Okay, so they are always moving towards that particular one. This is also a good idea. This is called as the interdisciplinary knowledge generator. They are very good at certain disciplines. Okay, they should also think about how to move from this elite comprehensive university status to the strong research institution here. This is going to be the second level. The two things we don't have any problem here, because these two types are concentrating most on the research aspect kind of the things now. The third, fourth, and fifth, okay, it is not in the order here. They call this as a club higher education. The curriculum should focus mainly on the student experience. Many people are talking about the project-based learning. How do we involve them in the engagement? The main factor, the performance indicator here is the student engagement. How we are going to increase or improve the student engagement here. The curriculum should focus that particular way. The second thing is completely in the flexible platforms. Okay, this is called as a focus on flexibility or the learning platform, automated support or improved access there. Thankfully, this situation gives us a lot of experience in this particular one in the scalable digital university point of view here. Otherwise, we just announced that our university will focus on the career advancement value. My aim is to get a placement for all my students at the core industries. Okay, get a strong ties with the industry and to focus on that particular ideas here. So clearly, there are 5 types of institutions, 2 on the research side and 3 on completely on the teaching institution kind of the thing. There also, we get to make a decision whether we are going to make the things based on the student engagement or we are going to give completely a digital platform for our students. Everything is going to be in that particular way. And the third one is going to be in terms of my focus is get a placement for the student. We take one objective strongly and get in a tie-up with the industry how we are going to work out here. I am repeating this particular one because the reason is that this will decide the vision and the mission of the institution here. First, we get to decide on that what type of institutions we get to be. That will decide on what type of students we are trying to attract and what are the focus areas we get to look at it. Okay, this is going to be in one side. In India also, they say that there are 3 tier of institutions. Tier 1, like an Indian Institute of Technology and the National Institute of Technology as a central government institution, top level institutions there. Tier 2 will be the universities kind of the things, and the Tier 3 will be the autonomous system, autonomous colleges now. They say that in future, the concept of affiliations will go away from India also. Okay, so there will be 3 things will be existing, and they say that more hereafter, the smaller colleges, like the colleges with some smaller number of students, will be closed or merged with the another institutions there. That's going to be the policy in India. I hope that if it is implemented, we will also give it 3 different types of institutions there. Okay, so Tier 3 means we get to look at it, what is the focus on which we get to move for 2030. It's going to be the messages I'd like to leave away from this particular slide. So now we can set the scenario, we can see the context, okay. Then we looked at what are the current scenario, one aspect on the curriculum side and another aspect on the online education point of view, and how we are getting the institutions are getting support from the government initiatives. And the third one is from now, 10 years later, we have 2030, okay, what type of institutions will exist? The kind of the things we can come into your mind. Okay, so this sets the scenario here. Okay, in this scenario, we get to look at it, what should be the academic process now. Okay, so the idea here it is, what should be our motivation now. Okay, so idea here it is, type of the purpose of education. Okay, is going to give the ability here. Okay, that means any education system, the focus should be on the knowledge, skill, and attitude here, so that our graduate will proceed to the training and experience that will develop the competencies required for them to carry out the independent practice in professional role. The key words here, 3: knowledge, skill, and attitude. Okay, now don't worry about that engineering word. Okay, this is going to be in terms of the knowledge, skill, and attitude. Combinedly, I call this as ability here. Okay, that means the question comes into our mind is, okay, fine, I am agreeing that what knowledge, skills, and attitude the student possesses as they graduate from I put it in bracket engineering, the programs, maybe as per the accreditation policy wise, they give the clear idea, whether it is the ABET or the national level accreditation things, they give very clearly that these are all the graduate attributes to be the students should possess. Okay? From that we derive what are the course outcomes and learning outcomes now. I'm going to little bit on the outcome-based education, maybe time being 5 to 10 minutes time, then I'll move on to the next step here. Okay? So the idea here it is, as an educational leader, what do we need? There are two things comes into my mind. One we call this as a far mindset, and another one we call this as a near mindset, okay, to affect the acceptance and adoption. Because seeing the 2030, they predict that there will be a lot of changes from the student point of view, as well as from the government initiatives point of view, from our own faculty point of view also, there will be a lot of changes now. So the question is now, it is not a far mindset, it should be the near mindset now. Okay? That means the far mindset means, what do they say? Answering the why questions. Why do you want to change? Why do I change my academic process? Okay? It has been successful for so many years. Why do I want to change? That is a why question now. Okay? Now it is very clear. We get to change. That means the focus should be on the near mindset. Okay? How I am going to make changes in my academic process so that our students will be in a comfortable position. They'll be the successful graduates at the end of their degree program now. How do we do that? It is, and the solution is available in our hand only now. How can? The question is not how. That means how can we as a college or a faculty do better to improve the ability of the students? Always I like this statement here, within the available student, faculty, time, funding and other resources now. Because we cannot immediately compare that MIT is doing, Stanford is doing, Harvard is doing, because they get a different type of the students, they get the enormous amount of the funding and so many things. Okay, don't worry about that particular kind of the things. Whatever the things we are having, okay, look at three aspects now. One is on the curriculum design, content delivery and assessment part. These three things we are going to look at to improve the ability of the students. Whenever I'm saying ability means it encompasses three domains: knowledge, skill and attitude. Okay, these are three things we are going to look at it here. Okay, based on that, I'm going to look at that. What happens to the scenario is there. We got a motivation. Definitely we should concentrate on three domains. Then we also see that it's not going to be the far mindset, it should be the near mindset. How I am going to focus my shift to the how questions now. Okay, so look at this academic process. What will be the components of the academic process now? I divide them into the 8 things here, 8 components now. The first component is going to be in terms of what should be our institutional academic policy and strategy. Because this should be done very clearly. Okay, this is going to be very, very important here. Then I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at from the automation process point of view, what are the things we can do. Infrastructure management, what are the changes we get to make it in our campus itself. The learner support system, how do we do that? Then the course management, then the faculty competence, then the assessment and continual improvement. All these things with respect to the academic process, I would like to give you a discussion now. Maybe for the another 5 minutes time, we will focus on that particular ideas now. Okay, this slide, I'm moving it here. Whenever I'm going to look at from the institutional academic policy or the strategy, definitely that person, the responsible for the deciding this institutional academic policy and the strategy, they get to do the benchmarking. Currently, they're making it as Industry 4.0, the World Economic Forum, then the higher education landscape that gives a lot of clear idea on that, where do we want to move? Okay, what are the current expectations? Okay, what are the expectations from the industry on our students? Okay, those things we get to make it very clearly. If they do it correctly, they can fix the regulations in according to the policies, whatever they are making it here. That will dictate the curriculum as well as from the individual course designs. Then if I'm going to look at from the automation process point of view, okay, in India, the University Grant Commission, they get given the mandate that all the programs in India, in autonomous institution, should follow the choice-based credit system. Okay, this may be done in 2 different ways, just by the elective choices or the career choice. Okay, in my opinion, the CBCS or the choice-based credit system should be for the career choice, not just for selecting elective courses. And outcome-based education also we are making a lot of automation process kind of the things. The company is also doing a lot of things in these two areas, choice-based credit system and outcome-based education. And another things they can extend it there is a data analytics. Okay? Because lot amount of data is available when we do the automation of all our teaching and learning process now. How do we do that? The analytics there. Based on the outcomes, attainment, maybe for at the post-semester level, maybe I'm talking about an engineering program of 4 years, maybe at the second year level, the software or the automation process to tell, it will give an indication that you are doing exceedingly well in this particular domain. Why don't you focus on that particular thing? Why don't you choose these kind of the electives? Kind of the things, the students get some idea. The automation process should trigger them. Okay, oh, this is my area I get to focus so that I can get a greater success at the completion of the program. That kind of the analytics we get to do that. This is going to be the another thing, it can be added in the automation process. Then development of our own online courses now, because there are many popular things like the Coursera, edX, NPTEL in India, okay, but we should also focus on our own online courses. The problem, the major advantage in this particular one is our students are the students in and around our institutions will be the customers for that kind of the things. Okay. First of all, very basic thing is going to be the slang at which we are talking about that. It's going to be the major advantage now. But it will also give the competent or confidence among the faculty member also to offer that kind of the courses. This is going to be the another thing. Focus is mainly on this automation process. The learner support system. There are many different types of learners in the campus. How do we support them? Okay, one model I look at is the universal design of learning. This is from the North Carolina state system. Okay, just to think about that, any good principle or the successful model can be adapted in our academic process. Okay, then look at it. What are the remedial measures for the students who are lacking in catching whatever we are looking for? That how do you offer the remedial measures now? Okay, this is going to be from the learner support system point of view. Then the course management. How do we, this is mainly on the content delivery part of that. How do we encompass or include active and collaborative learning strategies in our regular curriculum itself? Currently, we are in the lockdown period. Okay, maybe there is no possibility of having the face-to-face interaction or the live classes there. It is going to be, everything is going to be in terms of the online. Okay. So we get to look at maybe in future if the classes are if the colleges are reopened, we get to think about that whatever the advantages we got from this lockdown period through online things that can be combined with our face-to-face interaction. We think about as a blended learning process also we can look at it here. So ultimately the course management should focus mainly on how do we improve the student engagement here. Okay, this is going to be in the academic process point of view as the first 4 things. Then infrastructure management wise, okay, many institutions we are trying to make some changes from the conventional classrooms into a smart classrooms. So how do we do that? Maybe with the support from the digital concepts there, then everything, if suppose a faculty member is just walk in and get access to the everybody's there. Earlier we used to have the concepts like as the applicators or the voting system kind of the things. Now everything is going to be from the use of the mobile phones. Okay, can we exploit those kind of the things? How our classrooms will support online technological changes? Those kind of the things we get to look at it here. In order to improve the practical or the psychomotor kind of the things, skill kind of the things, and whatever the things they will learn as a theory, how do we make it as a practice? Why don't we create some maker spaces in our institution? That's going to be the second thing. And infrastructure management, there should be a center for teaching and learning. The members in teaching and learning center will always think about that. What is the good pedagogical things we get to implement so that our students will get major benefit out of the kind of the things. Okay? They should also think about the faculty competence. I'm not talking about as a technical domain. I am talking about as a faculty teaching skill. Again, I am not talking about as a teaching the Okay, it is going to be a conventional way of doing the knowledge sharing. I'm talking about in terms of the personal, interpersonal, and system building now. Okay. So we get to look at that one also here. So the pedagogical training programs, how I am going to adapt it here. Then faculty members may be encouraged to get online certifications, as well as, in my opinion, in India, focus is mainly on the theory courses. Less focus is on the laboratory courses now. So in order to improve the competence in laboratory courses, how we are going to align with the practical things, but the technical staff competence also, how do we improve it? Okay. In some institutions, they conduct the concept called as a faculty conclave. Okay. So this one can also be encouraged, so that whatever the best practices followed in that particular semester, the faculty member will present it to their peers, so that they can also get some advantages. They can customize it based on the nature of their courses. They can implement it in the next semester. The kind of the conclaves also they can do that. Okay. In my opinion, engineering education research also the another one the faculty members should think about that. Technical competence is one thing. Many of us, we do the PhD in our own domains. Okay. We are all basically teachers. So why don't you do what is happening in the education side? Okay, I'm talking about as engineering because my background is in engineering. I'm talking about as engineering education research. Why don't you take this also as one of the things, so that we can deliver it in a better manner? This kind of the things I'm looking at here. Then the assessment part of that, the quality. The major thing is going to be in terms of, we define a lot of learning outcomes. Are this assignment, tutorial, test, or examination are in alignment with the outcomes? Then what is the inference we are going to get from the performance of the students out of this assignment, tutorial, test, and examination? The result analytics, how do I going to do that? So far, we are comfortable with the tools for the knowledge sharing, or how to measure the knowledge in terms of the test examination. What are the tools we can take it for the affective and psychomotor domains? I will give a brief explanation about this affective and psychomotor. Maybe for the next 5 minutes, I will do that. And the use of the rubrics, wherever we feel it is not possible to measure, like the presentation skills. Okay, so how do we measure? It is not going to be the perception. There should be a clear-cut indicator should be there. How we are going to design these rubrics and utilize them for the measurement of those kind of the things. It's called as a rubrics part can be done, maybe along with the support from this particular thing, teaching and the learning center faculty members. They can help them for designing the rubrics and everything there. Then everywhere I'm looking for the continual improvement here. The feedback from the student, faculty, employers, parents, alumni, okay, because this will give an idea about where do we want to move further. This is going to be the near mindset. Okay, then action taken on that and give the impact. Okay, whatever the initiatives we are taking, okay, give an evidence on the impact of that initiative also here. Okay, so the focus is mainly on this component wise. I have made it as 8 different things. It's not necessary that all the 8 should be done by all the faculty members. Okay, the first one is purely on the top level process now. The second is on the automation process. We can get the help from the system, the companies like Kemo. Then the infrastructure management, again, it is a top level thing. Learner support system, it should be given some support from the teaching and learning center group there. In the course management, the faculty competence, it is for everybody. Assessment is for everybody there. Continual improvement, again, is a top level. So we have to identify the good group of people in institutions. They are inclined towards this particular thing. We are calling them as the pedagogy group members. You can name it anything, but a section of people, a group of faculty members should work on this particular thing continuously. They will give an idea that to the management. So these are all the things we can take some initiatives in this academic year. So we will see what happens in the impact on that particular thing. So this kind of the things, it should be in a periodical process, it should go. If we are going to do that particular thing, we need not worry about the accreditation process at the time of applying to the particular agencies there. Okay, this is what my intention here. Okay, this is going to be in terms of the 8 different things. Just now we made a discussion here. I will be very happy to answer the questions. Maybe at the end of the things, I will answer all your questions there. Please put your questions in the chat. I will answer those questions after completion of this presentation now. So look at from the one particular thing I would like to take is the graduate attributes given by the International Engineering Alliance. I'm not going to read everything here. Okay. Look at the way we get, what is the way we get to look at these graduate attributes now? If I'm going to look at, there are 12 graduate attributes given by International Engineering Alliance. First 4, they are talking about the knowledge point of that particular thing. I'm talking about in terms of the knowledge, skill, and attitude. The first one is going to be the apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, and engineering fundamental for solving complex engineering problem. Everywhere it is there. Complex engineering problem means they say that the problem, it is infrequently encountered. They call this as complex engineering problem. It starts from the apply level, then analyze level, then how we are going to make many possible solutions and to choose the best solution considering all these things, public health, safety, cultural, societal, and environmental factors. Then last one is going to be at the create level. If I'm going to look at from the Bloom's taxonomy point of view, this is at the create level. Okay, these 4 things, they're talking about the knowledge point of view now. Then look at the 5th one is going to be the modern tool usage. Slowly we are moving from the Bloom's taxonomy from point of view there, from the cognitive point of view to the psychomotor point of view now. It is going to be how to utilize the tools for solving complex engineering activities there. Then professional, which is going to be the mindset point of view now. Okay, engineer and society and the environment and the sustainability. I am very good at the technical thing. How my technological thing will be used in the society. Okay, am I considering the environmental factor while I am designing the solutions for the given problem? Those kind of the things we are going to look at it here. And ethical principles, and coming to the professional ethics. I highlighted the word called professional in all the 3, comes from to the attitude point of that. Okay, we will discuss it in the latest slide also. The remaining 4 are going to be in terms of the individual and the teamwork, communication on the complex activities, then project management and finance, and lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is the major thing, okay, because that is to be embedded on the student mind so that they can continue learning the new things. Okay, that will be the very good things for their future also now. Okay, this is going to be individual and teamwork, communication, and then project management, finance, and lifelong learning. So there are 12 graduate attributes. I mentioned that there are 3 domains are there: knowledge, skill, and attitude. Okay, so I mentioned that the first 4 are going to be in the knowledge group. Okay, this is going to be the knowledge, engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design and development of solutions, and investigations of the complex engineering problem. Okay. Then skill oriented, there are 4 things. One is in terms of the modern tool usage, individual and teamwork, communication, then project management and finance. These are all in the group called as a skill-based things. In some cases, they make it as a professional and a soft skill kind of the things. I'm talking in terms of the knowledge, skill, and attitude. Attitude point of them, engineer and society, environment and sustainability, ethics, and lifelong learning. Okay. So whenever we say, I want to improve the ability of the students, okay, this is a combination of all the 3, knowledge, skill, and attitude means, are we giving equal importance for all the 3 domains now? Okay, that's going to be the fundamental question comes to my mind: knowledge, skill, and attitude. Whenever we write our learning outcomes or the course outcomes, major focus is on the domain. Okay, whichever the domain we are working there, or the nature of the course is there, we are focusing on that particular things now. Okay, are we combining all the 3? Knowledge, skill, and attitude, because it is essential from the graduate attribute point of view. They are giving among the 12, they are giving equal importance, 4 for the knowledge and 4 for the skill and 4 for the attitude part of that means. We should also frame our learning outcomes. It should combine all the 3, knowledge, skill, and attitude. That implies that we should know the cognitive domain, fine, as well as we should know the affective and the psychomotor domain also now. That's the reason why I'm going to spend another 5 minutes time on quickly recollecting the Bloom's taxonomy on the 3 domains. In our institutions, we have made it as a combined thing. Okay, as a we call this as a proficiency scale. We call this, in our college name is Tyagaraja College of Engineering. We make it as a TCE proficiency scale. Okay, so how do we combine it? Okay, let me take another five minutes time on this particular one. This is everybody knows. This is very popular in India now. Okay, the Bloom's taxonomy. Bottom 3 we call this as the lower order thinking skills like remember, understand, and apply. The top 3 things, analyze, evaluate, and create, we call this as a higher order thinking skills. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this particular one. Okay, if you look at from the graduate attribute point of view, they start from the apply. Okay, apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, and engineering fundamentals. Okay, to solve complex engineering problem. They are expecting the program should be our address from the apply level each. That means focus should be mainly on the higher order thinking skills. Okay, that means they should be able to use the knowledge in a new way. Okay, that means use the knowledge for solving certain problems there. It is not just knowing that. Okay, it is going to be how they are going to utilize the knowledge in the new ways and how they are going to do the analysis. Okay, it is going to be it requires a lot amount of the thinking perspective in terms of the design thinking or the system thinking point of view there. Then they should be able to make a decision, which one is the best one among the many possible alternate things. Okay, then finally, how they are going to operate in an innovative way. Okay, this is going to be from the knowledge point of view itself. Since it is more familiar, just to move on to the next slide immediately now. This is in the affective domain. Okay. So the many of, it may be the newer things also for many of you. Okay. First thing, there are already 5 levels here. There are 6 levels in the cognitive domain. Here there are 5 levels. Just to put it in a sequential way, okay, receiving. There are many of you are attending this particular webinar. Okay, that means you have willingness to receive some information. This is the first level. In affective domain, you are at the first level when you are going to do the attending now. The second thing is the active participation. Not just willing to attend, okay, fine, what will happen there, but you want to do the active attention you are going to give it. Because I'm talking about so many perspectives there. Which one will be more useful for my own institution? If I'm going to start thinking about that particular thing, this itself, it is not just willing to attend. I want to take something from this particular webinar. This is going to be the respond or the active participation. Okay, the webinar will be over by maybe around 1:30 at India time. Okay, even after that, okay, if you are going to think about this particular thing, okay, these are all the things. These are the takeaways. How I am going to take it to my institution. I want to just to think about that particular thing. Even after this webinar, that means you are giving value for this particular webinar now. You are at the 3rd level. Okay. Then if I am going to make some changes, okay, I am going to make some change. I would like to reorganize my activities, okay, or alter or the kind of the thing. I'm going to reorganize it kind of the things. We call this as the organizing the values. Whatever you learn from this webinar, we want to do the implementation. That means you are moving away from your comfort zone. Okay? That means you are at the 4th level. Then last one is going to be as the characterizing. Okay? So I am saying that this is knowledge, skill, and attitude. All the 3 are important. We should give these. We should also look at from the affective and psychomotor domain also. I mean, if you start looking at a particular thing, then these 5 words itself, okay, anytime if I'm asking if you're able to tell about it, automatically it becomes as a character. Okay, in accordance with the value or internalized. It is going to be a very good word. Okay, internalized. These things are internalized in your mind now. Okay, there are 5 levels. I repeat one more time. Just receiving, okay, just receiving, then responding, valuing, then organizing, then characterizing. Okay, later I will combine it. Just look at this keyword only there. There are 5 levels. Then in the psychomotor domain, okay, skill level, okay, very popular in the institutions. Okay. First 2 things they are talking about the perception and the set. Okay. Suppose let us assume that I want to drive a car. Okay, I am ready to join in a driving school. Okay, because I have the confidence that I have the ability to drive a car. Okay, I am capable enough to, I am confident enough to drive a car. My physical conditions are helpful for that particular thing. These first 2 things are the things now. Readiness to take a particular course of action. Okay, then guided response. After joining the driving school, the instructor will give the guidance, unlike with his help, or I'm going to drive the car. Okay, he will give the things like you have to make some adjustment and all these things. This is going to be the guided response. Then the fourth one, okay, after this driving instructor give all the instructions, then I got the license also. Okay, then I start driving my own car. Okay, I take my car only from home to the institutions. Daily practice, home to institution, then institution to home. This is mechanical process. I know each and every things in that particular path. It's a habitual activity now. Okay, suddenly one day I'm thinking about that. Why don't you drive to a hill station? It's not my habitual practice. It looks another next level of the skill I am looking for now, that we call this as a complex overt response. Okay, I need some proficiency to drive in hills, not in the habitual practice now. That means I need one more thing here. Then sometimes even in my regular path, okay, there may be a heavy traffic jam. Okay, suddenly there may be a heavy rain and there is a waterlocking is there. Okay, still I want to make certain modifications to adapt to that particular situation. It is a regular path only, home to institution or institution to home. But there is a problem. Okay, I get how I am going to make the adapting to the problem situation here. Okay, then originating. Okay, learned everything here. Is it possible to make it as a creation of the new movement pattern? Okay, participation in the car race or kind of the things. I take that particular example so that everybody can get some ideas about that particular thing. The key factor is there are 7 things: perception and set, okay, readiness to take an action, then the guided response. The instructor gives a lot of things. Even in the laboratory, initially the instructor will give a lot of ideas how to switch on and how to operate a particular machine. Okay, then automatically they will leave it to the students. They do the actual regular experiments. They are trying to do that. Sometimes they want to try some newer things. It requires some skillful responses there. Then how they are going to adapt to the situation and kind of the things. Perception, set, then the guided response. Then the fourth one is the mechanism. Fifth one is complex overt response. Then adaptation. Then origination. All these things are looking differently than a newer domain. What we did in our institution as an academic process, okay, if I am going to look at only from the cognitive aspects, focus is mainly on the knowledge domain alone. Okay, that is not helpful. Okay, definitely everybody will agree that also. Okay, the thing is now the faculty members should get trained on the affective as well as in the psychomotor domain, and they should also try to write the learning outcomes combining all the 3: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Now, how do we do that? It's going to be the question. So we define, thanks to we refer this MIT proficiency scale, we customized it to our own things like as a TCE proficiency scale. I'm not going to explain all these things here, one at a time. It is sufficient to get an exposure there. Okay, what is happening? What is a unified academic project? Just an exposure I want now. That means it is sufficient to receive information here. Okay, suppose I try to implement whatever the things learned in this particular paper. I want to implement means I get to give the value. Okay, this is going to be another thing. I want to give some value for that particular thing. Okay, then if I try to want to the innovation on this particular one academic process, it should be my character. Always I should think about this, how I am going to improve the academic process now. That should be my character here. Okay, this is the kind of the things I am going to look at it here. Whether it is just an exposure or you are trying to implement it, or you want to be the leader or you are bringing some innovation in the process there, that automatically this is an effective point of that. In psychomotor point of view also, okay, may not be the direct things, but just time mechanism, regular things, I want to implement it. You are at the 4th level. The skill is enough. But you want to do some contribution, try to make some changes. Okay, this is going to be in terms of this complex overt response. I want to adapt to the situation. Okay, this is COVID-19 situation, lockdown period. I want to make some adaptation. How I am going to change my academic process? This is unexpected. Okay, so how I am going to do the adaptation? Okay, so automatically these things as a proficiency wise, is it an exposure alone, or we are going to lead them to the innovation level itself? Okay, so whatever the learning outcomes we are going to write, we focus on this particular aspects there. Whether this particular concept, just an exposure is enough, or this interpretation is enough, or they get to do the implementation things there, okay, or they should be able to participate or contribute there. Look at this particular thing. We get a lot of debate on this particular thing, okay, because it is not easy to define all the words here. We had a lot of deliberations. So till now, we are having the deliberations also after implementing. We have taken them for 1 year. Till now, we are going to make some changes. It is a continual improvement process. Okay, we get to look at this particular way now. This is going to be in terms of combining all the three. This is going to be the good thing. Okay, I have another, take another 5 minutes time with the permission from Swaminathan sir to make certain things here. Okay, whenever we do the, okay sir, okay. The curriculum design point of view, okay, practice is going to be in terms of the factor. What are the factors to be considered in terms of the, definitely we get to follow the guidelines of the regulatory authorities in any country. Okay, the vision. I'm trying to recollect, connect with the things like what type of institutions we want to be. Okay, focus should be on this particular thing. It's not easy to write, I'm going to be the world-class research institute, something like that. Okay, is it possible? Maybe after 20 years, is it possible? Look at in the practical scenario, based on that, you fix your vision. Not necessarily to be an attractive words. Vision, accordingly how we are going to achieve it, then automatically it comes down to the outcome-based education point of view now. Okay. Then the teaching and learning process requirements wise, okay, look at this particular one. Conceptual, it is essential. Concept we get to teach. Contextual, okay, I'm talking about as a real world environment in the campus, whether our students are job readiness, okay, because what industry require, are we teaching in that particular line? Okay, lifelong learning, everything we cannot teach. The students should take their own things there. Are we giving any flexibility in our curriculum to accommodate this lifelong learning as well as for the upskilling and reskilling? Okay, these things, it is not for the accreditation alone, it is for the entire thing. I'm just putting it for the accreditation point of view. These 5 things are essential there. Then how I'm going to look at from the guidelines from the curriculum design, as well as the feedback. I put one word here, it is gig practitioners. Okay, this is very important here. The idea is that many companies now, they are, many students now, they are not looking for a job. They want some work. Okay. Even in the, sometimes they want something like as a, they don't want to attach to an organization for the longer time, unlike in the previous years. Loyal to an institution, loyal to the company. It is not kind of the things. You give me a work, I will complete it, then I will be happy, then I will move on to the next work, I will do my job, I will improve my competency. Okay, this kind of the things is happening now means, okay, why did you get some feedback from those kind of the persons also? Okay, this will give you a different dimensions to our academic process, because we don't know that what happened in 2030 or 2040, 10 years or 20 years down the line. This may be a practice among the students. Nowadays, 21st century learners, they are different. Okay, so we get to look at the kind of the things also, the credit distribution, and another important factor is curriculum design is not a one-time process. It is a continual periodic process. We get to make it here. It should be reviewed periodically by a competent people. Okay, it is not going to be the comfort zone. Okay, whatever may be the board, academic council or board of studies or governing council, that should not be a comfort zone for an institution. That should be a meeting to improve our own process there. That means we get to accommodate competent people in those councils there. This is my request, because these kind of the things are going to be everywhere. Okay, it is going to be periodically reviewed. That is also going to be the factors to be considered here. With all these things, okay, just to take a 1 minute time on the communication side, just to give you a connections there. Okay, suppose the communication, I take it as a 10th graduate attribute here. It talks about the communicate effectively on complex engineering activities with community and with the society at large. Write effective reports, documentation, presentations, give and receive, clear instructions, all these things are there. It is normally talking about it is LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay. So what we get to do there is in the academic process, we get to break them into a possible indicators. Okay. I can divide them into the, thanks to the CDIO syllabus version 2, they are giving the 6 different dimensions. What type of communication you are looking for? Okay, I take a written communication here. In written communication also, there are so many things we can look at it here. Detailed indicators. Okay, whether this writing with the coherence and flow, correct spelling, punctuation and grammar is there or not, formatting the document, technical writing, what is the different style, whether they get accommodated now. These are all the indicators. Then the question is on what level I am going to look at it here. I mentioned about the 6 different proficiency scale. what level you are going to look at it, that will give the accent verb. So if you're going to look at it here, this will be looking like as an outcome. Okay. At the end of the course, the student should be able to demonstrate writing with coherence and flow. Automatically, this becomes as a outcome here. Okay. So what I'm trying to do it here, take a program outcome, break them into so many indicators. Okay. Then that indicator also should be given more emphasis on that particular thing. Okay. Then you attach a word like that. If I'm going to start doing like that, automatically, even in the your regular courses, if I'm going to embed this particular thing, knowledge, skill, and attitude automatically comes into a picture. Look at it, what proficiency skill you are looking for that. So definitely that will give you a very clear idea on okay, how to move forward further and further now. Okay. Automatically you can make a lot of changes in your assessment also now. Okay. Okay, another thing is a sample course. I'll not take maybe the slides. If it is shared, you can look at that particular thing. We can make a lot of changes in our own academic process also. We don't want to conduct the regular type of the examinations. Even just to share these things like, okay, even for the end semester examinations, we don't want to conduct the theory examination kind of a thing. We made it as a demonstration and a poster presentation here. Automatically, knowledge is there, they already applied it. Okay, why don't you ask them to make a demonstration as a group? Okay, make it as a poster. Okay, that give a lot of things there, knowledge, skill, and attitude. All these things are there. In fact, the feedback we got from the students, they enjoy it like anything. They don't get the fear on the end semester examination because they are in the group, they are discussing a lot. Okay, the examiners are moving around that hall. Okay, they are making a lot of discussions are also they are happening now. We purposefully involved some industry people there. They like that idea. Out of this particular course was offered for 900 students. We got 120 different ideas. Okay, I'm very happy to inform that at least 20 ideas were very, very good. Okay, the industry people, they say that we will take that idea and we will take it to the next level. The student also will be supported with the internship. Okay, so this is the changes we get to make in the academic process there. Okay, I can share some feedback here. 81% in our institution, 81% given by the students. It's going to be the highest grade. Okay, our students are very strict in giving the feedback. Okay, 81 is a very good score. This is achieved by this design thinking course now. Okay. This is an undergraduate, volume is 900 students. That's what I'm making it here. Okay, so I'm just skip these slides and go to the best practices wise. I'm getting into the summary point of view. Okay, we are slowly moving from the teacher-centric to learner-centric with the human empathy and the emotional intelligence and everything should be there. Accreditation as a culture for continued improvement program. It is not going to be the 5 years once or 3 years once. Research management, it should be moved from research to the products and the patents. This is going to be for the institutional wise. And the faculty is given the equal or the balanced workload so that the academic process will be successful. Too much amount of the loading on the teaching, research and administration will not help us. Identify a teaching faculty and the research faculty, give them the comfortable load for them and give them constructive feedback also there. Okay, all our undergraduate programs and postgraduate programs. Okay, the innovation should be a culture in classroom as well as in the practice assignments. Our examinations should be a trigger for the innovations there as well as it's for the postgraduate program. We know that it is a very specialized domain. Okay, it should not disturb the innovative things like that. It's going to be in the PG program. Okay, this is going to be, we should, from the maybe the top level point of view, you look at this particular way, then automatically we can fix our regulations and everything there. If you are going to do that things, expected thing is global mobility, our students will get, because they get the personal, interpersonal, and professional skill also, then they'll be able to develop a product, process, and the systems. Then definitely they will be getting employment in the core industries there. From faculty point of view, satisfaction. So very first one is a satisfaction. Then they are also doing the collaborative initiatives they can do in terms of the teaching as well as research kind of the things. As an institution, always okay, collaboration among the institutions in benchmarking and sharing the best practices. Because one thing, it cannot be steal from the others. We can share our experience. Nobody can steal whatever the best practices we have in our campus because everything to be customized. I'm very confident on that. I'm following the TCE proficiency scale. If some other institution want to set up a proficiency scale, they should think about it. They should customize for their own students, their own nature of the faculty members and the institutional culture. It is not stealing from anybody. It is going to be the sharing among the best practices will help a lot in improving the academic process. Okay. As a summary here, enhancing the institutional excellence or improving the quality of the teaching and learning process in an institution. We are not asking the students to work, the teachers to work for more hours. Okay, that's not a valid solution also. Okay, the strategy for the academic process should be about how to get better student learning or the better engagement within the available student, faculty, time, funding, and other resources. Only the choices, read as the space we already have, read as the time we already have. We talked about this for the past 1 hour time. Okay, academic process is common for all. Some take pearls, some take fishes, and some come out with just wet legs. Okay, the world is so common to all. What we get is what we try. But the last line is very, very important. Okay, whether we are going to accept whatever the university affiliated university says, we are going to accommodate it, or we are going to utilize our freedom to improve or innovate something in the academic process so that our students will get major benefit out of that, and ultimately our institution and against our institution will get lot amount of exposure and branding. This is going to be the light of the branding there. Perception for our institutions will also get improved. Okay, I thank once again Mr. Swaminathan for giving me an opportunity to share my experience in the field of academic process to the participants now. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Very insightful presentation. Obviously comes from a tremendous amount of experience. I do have before I put forward some questions from myself and also from some of the participants, I'd like to just highlight my understanding, summarize my understanding from the presentation. So the topic is about how there are various institutional requirements today in terms of, particularly in terms of accreditations. There are various kinds of institutional requirements, and institutions end up performing those activities in small pockets, and as a result, there's a lot of repetitive work. Instead of approaching it in that way, how can we have institutional goals, not any other short-term or accreditation-specific goals? How can we have institutional goals, and how can that be aligned with various accrediting bodies? So what I've understood from here, the key aspect is defining what we want to be. We talked about the 5 different types of institutions. There's nothing like which is a good one and which is a bad one. It's a very important point. Every institution is in a particular region, and they have a specific profile of students. So that's an extremely important point to consider. What kind of institution do you want to be? Then the second point is, so there we talked about, you want to be a digital university or just get employment for the students, or which is a very critical requirement, getting the employment for students, or be that niche research organization. What do we want to be? Defining that is extremely critical, and for the future. But what kind of students? The second aspect is, what kind of students do we want to be in our institution, to be able to to decide that and then set the goals. So these questions will set the goals, what we want to be. From there we can define the vision and mission for the institution, and then from there on you went on to explain about how can we deliver that, and that's all about curriculum design, content delivery, and the assessments. And you went a bit detail into how you can structure, what is the goal of each of these aspects, how can you, what questions to ask, and how we can design the curriculum, and how can we effectively deliver it, and how can we effectively assess it. And again, wonderful insights on how you can, one example of getting rid of the terminal exam and making it a discussion, and how that makes students enthusiastic. That's a no-brainer. Obviously, students are going to love that than sitting in an exam hall and these days in a proctored online environment taking exams. There's obviously the interactions is going to be far more interesting for the students. And also at the start, you talked about how the value system and how CDIO is sort of pushing the emphasis back onto the personal interaction, not just purely the science and the knowledge. So a little bit of going back to the roots. So that's so it was a wonderful explanation and articulation of how we can. It's all pointing to the same thing. Now, as long as we also sort of align to that, what kind of institution we want to be, what kind of learners are we targeting, and in order to do that, how do we go about the three fundamental things? The fundamental things for educational institution is the curriculum design, the content delivery, and the assessments. That's pretty much it. There's nothing that's out of the ordinary here. It's the same things, but then we just need to retask where we want to be, and automatically then from there, if we start whether it's NIRF or whether it's NAC or NBA, if we start positioning with that solid foundation, then we can cut short a lot of work that may be repetitive. Of course, there may be some paperwork and formats that are repetitive, but in terms of alignment and in terms of what we're trying to achieve together, will still be common. That's I just wanted to summarize that. So it's also.
Thank you so much for the summary. Here, I have a question from the audience. I'll just read it out so that Professor can take the question. Do we have any specific word for learner-centric process, just like we have for teaching, which we call as pedagogy, say for design process for learning, learner support system? Should I repeat the question?
Repeat the question, madam.
Do we have any specific word for learner-centric process, just like we have for teaching, which we call as pedagogy? Okay. Say for design process for learning, learner-centric learner support system. They're asking if there is any specific word for learner-centric process.
I don't think any specific word kind of the things, but what my understanding here it is, this is something like we define the outcome, okay, in the learner point of view, from the learner point of view, okay, maybe the question I put it in a different way, okay. How do we design our courses or a classroom session so that student can learn better? This kind of the things I'm looking for now, okay. So interestingly, from teacher-centric means what I know I want to teach it. That is one way of doing that, okay. The learner-centric means what do they need? The learner, what do they need? Okay, I should understand their level of understanding. Then I get to change my own way of teaching methodology so that they can understand it in a better way or take it in a better way now. Okay, that's the way we are making it as a learner-centric process now. It is not something like there is a difference between the objective and the outcome. Let us make it in this way. Objective is from the teacher point of view, whatever the things we want to do it. Because from teacher point of view, outcome is after my lecture, what they will be able to demonstrate. That we call this as a outcome point of view now. Here we are focusing, maybe this kind of the things we make the changes now. Objective from teacher point of view, maybe the word we can use it. Outcome is itself a learner-centric word now. Outcome from the student point of view now. What we want to do there is, it should be outcome based. That means it should be the learner-centric based. We get to make a lot of changes now. Okay, I think we can take it as a two words: objective for the teacher-centric and outcome for the learner-centric point of view. That can be the best way to look at this particular question now.
Thank you, Professor. And there's one more question. How can we achieve psychomotor outcomes in real time? How can we achieve psychomotor outcomes in real time?
Psychomotor cannot be addressed in all the courses, madam. That is one thing we get to be very careful on this. There are many possible things. Suppose I have made one sample course is called a design thinking. Okay, so that particular course, it involves all the three. Okay, the reason is that because it involves the students should go to the industry or to the society, get some problem. Okay, then they are making some prototype. When they're making the prototype, are they considering all aspects or the requirements given by the industry or from the society people? So psychomotor skill may not be combined in all the courses. specifically on the laboratory courses, wherever we are having the project kind of the things, wherever we are going to try to make some prototypes or the product kind of the things, we can include that parameter. Otherwise, we cannot touch on that particular aspect now. Okay. It is a very good question. We are also struggling a lot to embed in the many courses now. Then we identified a set of courses in which we can include all the three domains, like the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Once we get an experience, we try to get them into the, once we customize into your regular courses also now. So currently in our institution also, what we are trying to do there is, we identified 8 courses for the undergraduate program, in which we address all the 3. There, it requires all the 3 domains now. It's not easy to implement it in all the courses. That I accept it. It's not easy to implement in all the courses there.
Thank you, Professor. There's one more question. What strategies do you follow for various types of learners?
One aspect is now, it is based on the faculty member also. Okay, so we give them a lot of training on the active and the collaborative learning process. This is one thing we are doing in our campus for all the faculty members. All the 250 faculty members have been trained on the pedagogical aspects by our own team. The reason I am emphasizing that particular word is our own team is we know that what are the difficulties our faculty members are facing. So we identify these are all the techniques may be suitable for this particular domain. We know it very clearly. The local understanding, we are having it there. We conduct the regular workshops for our own faculty members. They are trained. Then we ask them to do it in a multiple mode of deliveries there. This one way is the blackboard teaching. They can do that. We also ask them to record their lectures and give it to the students so that they can learn at the time of their convenience. Okay, then discuss about that particular thing. It's not easy also to institutionalize this. It's not easy one. So if we teach them for the 250 faculty members, currently I can say that 50 faculty members, maybe 20% of that are following different aspects of giving the mode of delivery now. One aspect, they are also embedding on the active learning strategies. The 2 things are very important. One is faculty members should be comfortable for introducing those active and collaborative learning strategies in the classroom. That is the first thing. We give them the training. It is essential. And we also ask them to go to the certain certification process offered by many agencies. They also give some training on that particular thing. Then they started implementing that. Even after that, I'm saying that 20% of our faculty members are very good at, from the learner, based on the learner style, they are making the changes there. Remaining 200 faculty members, they are trying to adapt that particular kind of the things now. One way is multi-mode delivery of the content. That's what we are emphasizing among our faculty members now. It's not just a one way of doing the PPT alone. We are not encouraging them. Chalk and talk alone, we don't encourage them. So we ask them to teach us with the chalk and talk, it is fine, PPT is fine. Introduce so many delivery methods. Even in our course plan itself, we are asking them to write down that this particular course lecture, in what mode they are going to deliver it. So it is going to be the mix of delivery methods so that all type of the learners are addressed. To the specific side, we are also conducting a lot of the mentoring aspect also. We are trying to do that. So whenever the students are struggling in one aspect there, we conduct them with some peer groups. The same nature of the students, we are trying to adapt it there. Then they are also helping them. This is normally for the benefit of the students we are doing this. It's extra effort also we are doing it now.
Okay, so there's thank you, Professor. There's one more question from Dr. Manivannan Kaliyappan. He's asking, can interdisciplinary be incorporated into and throughout undergraduate curricula, or future research should explore the relationship between particular types of curricular emphasis, for example, core curricula, major programs, and standalone courses, and student learning outcomes? What do you have to respond to that?
Actually, we did one major change in 2018. In order to bring that interdisciplinary culture, if we ask them to individual department to do this activity, they were not ready that particular time, to frankly speaking. Okay, they say that we have already credits are essential for to accommodate our own courses also. If suppose I am asking about the BE Mechanical Engineering program, they say a set of courses there should be taught, whatever the credit given to them, they say that it is sufficient. There is no scope for the interdisciplinary kind of things. Then what we did strategically, we introduced 8 courses. Each semester, one course is going to be the common course, like the engineering exploration in the first semester, lateral thinking in the second semester, design thinking in the third semester, project management in fourth semester, system thinking in fifth semester, then design project in the sixth semester, capstone project in 7th, and final project. So we decided that these courses are the common courses. Okay. Another strategy what we followed that, okay, these courses will be offered in a common time. Okay, it is not necessary that mechanical engineering students should take the course on design thinking by mechanical engineering faculty. It can be from another faculty also. Automatically, the group also, they can formulate it not only from the mechanical engineering. They can form the team with the civil engineering students or the EEE student or ECE student like that. So what we did there is, we identified a set of courses in order to improve the interdisciplinary nature. It is very difficult in practice. We can say that it is essential and we should be incorporated like that. When you start implementing that, we face a lot of problem. So what we did, there is a common timing in the timetable and the mix of teams from the different disciplines. Suppose we want to make it as a prototype, it requires a lot, not only the civil engineering alone, it requires the electrical, computer, and IT also there. So we made it as a team like that. That's what I started that experience also in the design thinking, the last semester examination. Thankfully, okay, that examination cannot be conducted department-wise. So it should be institutionalized. Then we said that it will be only the posters and the presentations will be there. So that worked a lot. So strategically, we did that particular one. It works now. So what we are trying to do there is, slowly we made it as a proficiency skill, how to combine all these things, how to improve the laboratory courses also. So slowly the idea comes now is, their institute, the department, now they are willing to offer the interdisciplinary courses on their own now. Okay, there's going to be the significant impact we got after 2 years. Thankfully to the 4 courses, the success in the 4 courses in engineering exploration, lateral thinking, design thinking, and project management, that success motivates them to offer more courses so that it may be the combined things also there. At least through these courses, earlier process, I belong to ECE department. I know students only from ECE now. Okay, many in the earlier practice. Thanks to these 4 courses, many faculty members to many students from other discipline also now. Okay, that's going to be slowly changing. It is a practice culture. We are going to make some changes. I hope that maybe this batch, when they go out, maybe 2022, they will be the first batch in this particular initiative. Definitely, they will do exceedingly well in the whatever the area, society or in the industry or in the entrepreneurial thing. Definitely, they will do exceedingly well. That is my hope. This is an initiative, small initiative. We are looking for the higher impact. Maybe the 4 years. Definitely, they will achieve a lot.
Thank you, Professor. There are a few more questions as well. I'm going to read it out. Reno Rail is asking, in brief, what unifies the academic process for higher education? Can you just give a summary of it? I think that's...
best thing is student engagement. Okay. One word is student engagement. The student will get engaged with the institution, okay, their ambition, their requirement to be filled up. Okay, so look at that particular aspect. One word, the 2 words. Student engagement is the key factor. If we are trying to, whatever the academic process we have, if student engagement is getting improved, automatically we can meet all the accreditation process now, unified. That's where I'm making it as a unified process now. Okay, somebody wants to get their expectations are different. Each student's the expectations are different. If you are trying to address a group of kind of the things, not necessarily all. Okay, majority of the students' expectations, if you are able to meet through our academic process, definitely that process is a unified process. Okay.
Thank you, Professor. There are a couple of more questions. Can you comment on the difference between chalk and blackboard versus PPT? Both methods say their online delivery mode.
Sorry, madam. Repeat the question, madam.
Can you comment on the difference between chalk and blackboard versus PPT? That is using the blackboard versus PPT.
nature of the course is going to be different, madam.
Question. This is from a learner perspective. Can we compare this seeing a movie versus reading a book? So what I understand is what is the difference from a learner point of view?
Chalk and talk and PPT, madam.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let us assume that I am a mathematics teacher. Okay. Normally, one of the feedbacks in our institution, one mathematics faculty member, he used PPT for the entire semester. Okay. There was a major complaint about that particular thing. Okay. So the mathematics or the analytic nature kind of the things. Okay. But students are expecting chalk and talk is better. Even though it is a very classical older method, they feel that, sir, I asked them to teach using Blackboard. This is the feedback they have given to us. Okay. The idea behind that is whenever the teacher using the Blackboard, okay, they are going slowly. Okay. Suppose a typical concept, a mathematical problem solving, they want to do it on the Blackboard. Means the student, step by step, the student, faculty member is writing. By the time student getting grasp a particular concept, then started solving that particular problem also now. So the mathematics kind of the things, they like it. The same thing, it did not work in the management theory course. We get a course on the management theory and practice. That faculty member wrote everything on the Blackboard. Okay. Complaint is that we don't want the writing on the Blackboard. Okay. So they ask us, why don't the particular faculty member can prepare a PPT and present it? Kind of the things they are asking about now. So it depends on the nature of the course. Okay, chalk and talk or the Blackboard. Learner perspective wise, they don't look for the one way of delivering the method. That's what I already mentioned, that the multimodal delivery. Sometimes we have to go to the board and to solve the problem on the board. That will give the confidence among the students. Whenever we are talking about it's a summary kind of the things, like in the webinar, we get talked about so many things in 1 hour. Okay, so that means PPT is a better option here. Okay, so banner point of view, they are expecting different things at a different time. They are not expecting the Blackboard alone. They are not expecting PPT alone. Based on the nature of the course, we get to identify appropriate tool to deliver that particular thing. Okay, so it is not again it's a Blackboard versus PPT. This is nature of the course, an appropriate tool for delivering that particular thing now.
Thank you, Professor. There are last 2 questions
okay, madam.
I will share. Please share some CDIO implementation possibility in rural area college.
CDIO can be implemented in any institutions. Okay, there is no question on whether it's a rural area, urban, or kind of the things there. CDIO is mainly for solving problem for the societal, improve the societal impact, improvement. That means rural area is the best possible things. Definitely we can implement it in rural institute also. If, we are also ready to help, being a member in the CDIO worldwide initiative. We are also ready to support you in any aspects for implementing CDIO curriculum in your institutions.
Thank you, Professor. One last question. Do you think it's necessary for a learner to know the optimal way for individual learning?
Madam, repeat the question, madam.
Do you think it's necessary for a learner to know the optimal way for individual learning?
I take it as a lifelong learning, individual learning or the lifelong learning. I don't think what is an optimal way. I don't understand that, but any individuals, now the focus is going to be in terms of not whatever we are teaching, just a guideline now. Okay. In any education reforms, whatever they are saying now, teachers should be the facilitator for these students because they are in the colleges now. So they should be facilitated to learn on their own. Okay. If suppose we are able to support them with the optimal way for that particular student, if we are able to guide them, okay, then definitely it is a good thing. Okay. I think that the students should be facilitated or supported by the mentor to identify what is the optimal way for that particular student.
So one last question, Professor, I'll leave it with this. How can we engage students during COVID time without giving more pressure? I think we can end with the last question. How can we engage students during COVID time without giving much pressure?
It is a very typical question to answer. Okay, whatever the way we are, because the things are different, madam, because the one aspect is online learning is happening now. What way we can do there is, don't load them too much on a single day. Okay, so many classes if you plan on the same day. Okay, many of the things we got the feedback that the faculty members, they don't see any paces. They cover so many topics in the single lecture itself. Okay, that kind of the stress should not be given to the students. Okay, so another good advantage is that anytime they can learn anywhere also now. It is going to be the reality now. Maybe the flexibility can be given to the teachers to schedule their own lectures based on the convenience of the students as well as for the faculty members. It is not necessary that this time you should come and I will teach kind of the things. Flexibility may be given to the faculty members as well as for the students to decide on what they want to be, because there are too many other factors also we get to consider it. So the flexibility or freedom should be given to both faculty and the students to decide on what is the method of delivery and what kind of the assessment they are going to do that, and when they are going to conduct the classes. If their flexibility is given, that is fine. But from the institutional point of view, management will not agree. Okay, so the thing is that we should convince them. I can cover this particular thing, whatever the commitment I get given for this particular week, I completed this. And another thing is called as a resilient teaching. This one method is whatever the smaller topic we are teaching there. Okay, we should assure that okay, every student learn that particular thing. We can give some smaller, maybe not for grading purpose. Give them some smaller quizzes so that they ask them to answer the kind of the things. Once we confirm that, we can go to the next topic like that. Okay, this is one thing. One thing is time flexibility, and another one is the concept called as a resilient teaching. That is also in my slide. Okay, you can, if it is shared, you can also look at that point of the things. Take a smaller topic, divide them into so many chunks. Each chunk, okay, give it some smaller lecture, 15 minutes or 30 minutes, ask them to respond to that particular thing, then go to the next level. Okay? Then give some time for the students to answer those questions. You can give some 1 or 2 days for the not graded question, ungraded questions you can give, not for grading purpose, you can give them kind of the things. I give you a lot of ideas. Okay? So it's not going to be the single solution. There are multiple ways we get to think depending on the nature of the students and the nature of the management also. That is also playing the major role there. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor. I think we will take a hard stop right now. If there are some questions that are unanswered, I think we can write back to them, and also we'll share the presentation and the recorded webinar to all the attendees. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Professor Thiruvengadam for giving a very detailed session, sharing all his insights, practical suggestions and solutions, and how institutions can take tips to unify the academic process. That was a wonderful session. I think all the participants on the chat are saying, or like expressing their gratitude for sharing this wonderful session with them. Thank you, Professor. We look forward to having one more session with you. And thank you so much. And I thank all the participants being a part of this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.